Seven Footers crew. Welcome to 2019 Season 2 Seven Footers.
Happy New Year, Jenna.
Oh, Happy New Year, Jarod.
Wait, can we? It's like January 10th, but like whatever.
But we're getting onto it.
The people should know I have not seen you since our Christmas special.
It's actually the saddest thing I've ever heard in my life.
It has been multiple weeks since we've seen each other.
Multiple weeks. And honestly, the texts do not
The texts don't do it justice.
Though.
No, but I mean, listen, it's like the phones are buzzing all night. It's like, oh my God, what's this? And you know, Jenna's a bit of a youngster in comparison to myself. So there might be texts at like 2 o'clock, and I'm like, homegirl, I'm asleep.
Oh, please. Just get with the times, okay?
Get with the times.
No, 2019. Let's kick this off before we start our first podcast of the new year. Sorry for my raspy voice, but I'm kind of digging
Billie
it.
Holiday.
Little Billie Holiday, Mila Kunis vibes. Tell me a resolution of yours for the new year, Jarod.
Oh, resolution. You
Yes.
know, I honestly think it is to find the joy and the goodness in every situation, because there is somewhere in there. You got to look harder than you do in some situations, but
I agree.
it's there.
I agree. I like
Because, you know,
that.
2019 is all about more life and just hashtag Drake, more life.
I was just going to say,
2019,
hello, Drake.
2019 is about just, you know, living life and just more positivity, no negativity. We don't need that in our lives, right?
I completely agree.
We got big goals in 2019,
I
Jenna
completely
Lemoncelli. And for you, what
Yes.
what is a resolution for you?
Honestly, on top of yours, I wish I could adopt a million resolutions, which I probably will, since there's obviously no limit. But I think the thing at the top of my list, as you may know from our private conversations, more self-love.
Yes.
More self-love.
Got to take care of yourself, people. That's a good lesson for
Exactly.
all of you out there. Take care of yourself, people.
Exactly. So let's roll right into this, because I'm so excited to kick off 2019 with a bunch of hot storylines, and we have to start with the drama surrounding the Timberwolves.
The Timber Puppies, you mean?
Yes, exactly. The Timber Puppies, dubbed by Jarod last season and this season.
Listen.
But let's talk about the drama, because we have one of the biggest firings, unexpected or expected by a lot of people.
Yeah.
Tom Thibodeau fired after a win against the Lakers, 106-86. There were reports that he was fired right after this, and he did not expect it, because when you win by that much, you know, you're expecting to go home and probably pop a bottle of vino, you know. But break this down for me a little bit before we get into the technicalities of it.
Right.
Tom Thibodeau fired. Now, as we
Yeah.
know, he played the dual role.
Yeah. GM and
So-
coach. Yep.
Exactly. So how is this going to affect the team now that we're losing two major roles in one?
Well, look. First of all, clearly the Timberwolves knew what they were going to do. It didn't matter if he won by 40 or if they lost by 40. He was getting fired that day
I was just
regardless.
going to say, there was some. It was waiting to happen. It was a little
That-
premeditated.
They said that was the day that he was going to get fired. It didn't matter.
Regardless.
So it's weird to the outside. It's like, oh, but they won by 20. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. He was getting fired. And the reason for his firing, obviously, is because the Timberwolves ownership, that being Glenn Taylor, and we'll get to him in a minute, clearly does not think that Tom got the most out of the talent on that roster. Karl Anthony Towns, Andrew Wiggins, are two of the bright young stars in the league.
And the demise of Jimmy Butler
And the Jimmy Butler saga.
for the Timberwolves.
and all of that. And so, that wasn't working out well. And you and I have talked about this off air, and I'll reiterate it here. The coach and GM role, it's just not a good idea to give that to one person. First of all,
I agree.
a coach and a GM, the job descriptions are not the same. The skill sets necessary to excel at both of those positions are not the same. A coach is worried about the day-to-day and is mired in how do we win and win today, get better tomorrow. Coaches are in that mindset. GM's got to think about, okay, how's the salary cap working? Are we getting enough out of player value X for this, Y, and Z? How much cap space do we have? What's the long-term? It's just very.
It's more of the things that a coach should not even be tackling.
Exactly right. It's very different. And to think that, first of all, and I say this all the time, there are 30 NBA franchises, which means there are 30 head coaching jobs and 30 GM jobs. Why would you think, because that's it in the world, that one person could handle both those worlds?
Exactly.
And by the way, it's been proven in the history of the league to not work.
And I was just going to say, I don't care who you are, whether you're Pop or some people may say Brad Stevens. I know you have things to say about that.
Brad isn't the GM.
No. I'm just saying it doesn't. I don't care if you're Pop or Brad Stevens or whoever.
Right.
You can't do the dual role with that.
No.
You just can't. It's
No.
just too much, and
No.
it's two different sides of the spectrum.
Because think about it. You're worried about day-to-day and winning. You got time to go to Slovenia and scout some 6'7" wing player? No. Like what? Because you're worried about getting beat by the Lakers tomorrow night. Like
Exactly.
They're just, again, those jobs don't mesh in that way. They need to be handled by two different, and the temperaments also for those jobs are very different. So I just think that, again, Minnesota, good Lord, that franchise. Dumpster fire. I was talking to some of my other journalist friends who as well, and we talk about this all the time. We're listing the bad owners in the NBA. Glenn Taylor's at the top of that list. I mean, you got Glenn Taylor in Minnesota. You got Reinsdorf in Chicago. You got, who am I missing? Vivek in Sacramento. Although Sacramento's playing better, so let me not kill them too badly because they're playing decently
now.
You have listen right here in our backyard, Mr. James Dolan of the New York Knicks. I mean, so we got some bad owners. And listen, for you fans out there, that is the secret to having a good franchise. If your owner stinks, your team's going to stink. And it's not so much just about do they spend money, do they not spend money. Do they spend money and do they hire smart people and get out of the way and let the smart people do what you hire them to do? And that's a lesson.
Get out of the way.
And that's a lesson that any leader or CEO or person of any major organization, company, whatever will tell you. And Richard Branson has a quote that he talks about this all the time. And it's this idea of you don't hire smart people and tell them what to do. That's not the point,
then
right?
Why do you hire smart people?
Then just hire a bunch of yes men, and then you're in charge, right? You hire them so they can lead you because you believe that they have the wherewithal and the temerity to do what is necessary to bring your organization to the next level.
Jarod with the vocabulary.
Oh, I don't know.
Today.
I'm just throwing out words today.
With the vocab today.
But no, that is what you do. And Glenn Taylor, no. Oh, we forgot. Robert Sarver, Phoenix, another one. Disaster. I mean, they're just
you preached about that one before.
They're just bad owners in this league, and look, those franchises stink.
Exactly. I mean, I see where the rankings are, see where the numbers are. It proves for themselves, and that's the thing.
Proof is in the pudding, my friends.
Exactly, but the thing is, a lot of people only trickle down from the coach, and the general manager. I get it, the owner thing, this and that, but I mean, where's the root?
Well,
are we going to pull from the root or no?
And that's the thing, and that's what most fans don't realize, right? It's always like, the player did it, whatever. There's so much more to it. It's the GM. It's the front office. It's the culture. And that comes from the top. It is the owner and the ownership group. What is the culture and the vision of this particular organization? What do they want to do? Who knows?
Exactly. And now, to a little bit of turn of events, a lot of people agreed with Tom Thibodeau being fired.
Right.
But you have D. Rose who comes out and says, hey, he's the only coach who believed in me.
Right.
He's this, he's that.
Right.
Everybody else, whatever.
Right.
What are your thoughts about that? Because that was the only good review I've heard of Tom Thibodeau. But then again, I'm also a very big fan of Derrick Rose and his story.
Right.
Everything with people believing him and this and that. So how do you break that down with that relationship? Do you think it's this only person that gave him a chance? Or do you think it's actually Tom Thibodeau does have an eye?
Well, look, for Derrick Rose, that makes sense, right? I mean, he experienced his greatest success in this league under Coach Tom Thibodeau. So, I mean, of course he's going to feel.
Read off of him.
Of course he's going to feel some type of way. Youngest MVP in history, like all that stuff. That was under Coach Tom Thibodeau. And yes, Thibs gave him another opportunity to come to Minnesota. And by the way, Derrick Rose is playing well in his role this season.
Yes,
okay,
he is. Yes,
so
he is.
You can't knock that. But the issue is you have two players on that team. Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins, who are designated maximum players in terms of salary, and you are not achieving what you should, or I don't like to use the word should, but what you think that they are capable of doing based on their talent. Thibs was not able to get both of them to do what it is he needed them to do and tap into their full potential. And that's a problem. And look, part of that was the Jimmy situation, which is why, by the way, Thibs kept Jimmy around because he knew if Jimmy's not here, I can't win. And and we'll talk about Jimmy later when we talk about the Philadelphia 76ers. Thibs is an old school coach, and his philosophy and the way he does things, playing guys heavy minutes, the grinded out practice, the sort of like tough love. Listen, that's all well and good. But again, coaching and management is so much more about the soft skills than people realize. Yes, X's and O's matter. Of course they matter. But listen, you think that somebody's got some play they've never heard of in basketball? It's all derivatives and variation of the same thing, okay? But it's about understanding players and how do I motivate them. One of my favorite things I love to say is, and I'm going to talk about a college coach here. I am not a Duke Blue Devils fan. I am not a Mike Krzyzewski fan, whatever. That's a conversation for a different day.
Conversation you can have with me.
However, Mike Krzyzewski is someone who understands what leadership is about and understands people and how to motivate them and get them to do what they need to do. If you took Mike Krzyzewski out of Durham, North Carolina right now, today, said you're not coaching Duke Blue Devil basketball anymore, and you made him the CEO of Ernst & Young, he'd be incredible at it. You want to know why? Because he understands smart people get in positions they're supposed to be doing. I understand people. What's going to motivate person A to do B, right? What's our task here? We have to do X, Y, and Z? Cool. Okay. It doesn't matter that I don't know anything about accounting or consultancy. That's relevant. These are the best people at this. Cool. Let me get them and put them in positions to be successful. And that is different for each person because I know the motivations for each person. I know how to talk to this person. That's the part about coaching people don't realize, right? Think about your own life and your own job. There are certain managers that you work really well with, other ones who you don't work well with. What do you think that's about? Is it about them knowing the job, or is it about the soft skills and them knowing how to communicate and talk to you? It's probably the latter, right? This one who talks to you some kind of way, you feel some type of way about that person, right? Not positively. But the one who knows how to communicate with you, weird, you'll run through a brick wall for them and do whatever's necessary. These are the things that people don't realize. And Thibs, for whatever reason, he and Andrew and Kat, it just wasn't vibing.
Okay, let's move on from Thibs because clearly the Timberwolves have. So, Ryan Saunders.
Son of the late Flip Saunders, yes.
Exactly. Is he ready?
Look,
is he ready to take this role?
He's 32 years old, so he is young.
He's younger than a certain percentage of the players active in the league right now. Let's just talk about that.
Yes.
Is he ready, or do you think that did he get this job?
Look,
fairly?
I am not going to look. It's obvious that Flip's connection to that organization played a huge role in Ryan getting this job. It's obvious. And look, Glenn Taylor loved Flip. And Flip was a huge part of making that organization where it is and bringing them to relevancy. So, yeah. But look, Ryan has been an assistant coach. He was an assistant in Miami. He's been an assistant here. So, he has experience. Is he ready to be an NBA head coach? I don't know. Time will tell. Okay, look. He won his first game the other night. Was it overtime, that game against Oklahoma City? I think it did go to overtime.
Against OKC?
Yeah.
I think you're right.
I think it went to overtime. Either way, they won the game, and he got a nice little Gatorade bath in the locker room after. The players are so happy for him. Kat and all those guys went to his wedding.
Yeah, did you see that locker room celebration too?
Listen, it's all well and good now, game one, okay?
After that W.
Well, we'll see how it progresses. My only thing with that is that there are, and this is a larger conversation about sports in general and how we identify the next set of coaches. Certain people have inherent built-in advantages, right? When you are the son of a coach, well, Ryan's been around NBA basketball his whole life. So he already has so much of a leg up on everybody else because of that.
Exactly.
Look, you can't help what family you're being born into. It just is what it is. But you've got guys on that bench like Ed Pinkney, who's been an NBA assistant for 14, 15 years, who's got to be looking some kind of way like, well, wait a minute. I got a little more experience than this guy. So we'll see how it all plays out.
Exactly.
Wishing Ryan the best, and we'll see how it all goes down.
Let's move on here to Jimmy Butler and the drama in Philadelphia, or the lack thereof, according to Jimmy Butler himself, who doesn't think anything happened.
Well.
So we have an alleged confrontation between him and head coach Brett Brown. They were watching film or
Yeah.
whatever. Apparently, Jimmy Butler confronted him in a certain way. Some people say that that's how Jimmy talks. Some people say it was too aggressive and he was disrespectful and overstepping Coach. Coach comes out and says, I didn't see anything wrong with it. It was fine. Really quick before we get into it, is this Jimmy Butler being Jimmy Butler in Philadelphia and people don't know how to handle it? Or is this Jimmy Butler causing a problem in Philadelphia already?
This is just Jimmy being Jimmy.
Okay.
I mean, this is who Jimmy is.
Fair.
When Philly made the trade, they knew what they were getting into.
Okay.
I mean,
Just so we know your opinion.
he did the same thing in Chicago, did the same thing in Minnesota, and he's doing the same thing now. Jimmy has a style of conversation when he talks to people, when he thinks something needs to be said.
Yeah.
It is confrontational, it is abrasive, and if you don't like that, well, it could rub you the wrong way. And the genesis of this issue comes down to Jimmy's role in the offense. Jimmy wants to run more pick and roll, have the ball in his hands a little bit more.
Apparently, he confronted Brown about his role, like you said, in the offense and how many minutes he's playing and his role being a little bit lesser than other players, a.k.a. Simmons and Embiid.
Right.
So, in my opinion, do you think the three of these guys can coexist, or does a change need to happen between Simmons, Embiid, and Butler?
It's funny that you should ask that, Jenna.
I do. I want to know. I want to know what's up.
Well, it's interesting because, yeah, Jimmy is right in the sense that the team will probably function a lot better if he's handling the ball a little bit more, running pick and roll. Here's the problem with that. If he's handling the ball more, who's not handling the ball? Ben Simmons.
Exactly.
Well,
and is Philadelphia really going to...
Well, but here's the thing about that. If Ben Simmons is not handling the ball, Jenna, what is Ben Simmons doing on offense?
Not shooting.
Because he ain't shooting. So,
he ain't shooting, baby.
So, I mean...
So, exactly.
So that's
now,
a problem.
If Ben Simmons was a knockdown shooter, catch and shoot kind of guy.
Forget about knockdown. If he would just shoot.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm gassing it up a little bit too much. But if Ben Simmons actually shot the ball more, this wouldn't be as much of an issue when it comes down to, say, you're in the office and you're like, okay, hey, we got one person too much. Who are we getting rid of? But do you think that actually does need to happen?
So here's the thing.
It comes down to, do you want Butler or do you want Simmons?
Well, look, in a vacuum, that's a no-brainer. You take Simmons every time because he's younger and the upside is much higher. And from a salary perspective, you have him under control for another season at a lower rate. Yeah. Jimmy's a UFA, unrestricted free agent at the end of this season, and will command somewhere near a max salary. Well, probably a max. So, if you're Philly, you're like, I don't want to tie up all my money like that with a guy who's already in his late 20s, going to be back into his 30s on that contract, where Simmons is 22 years old. Like, right? I mean,
so young.
And
he's already that good. And a lot of people forget that. They put, and I hate this saying that they put too much pressure on people because this is the biggest stage ever.
Yep.
But he's only 22. He's playing at this level.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm not saying all we need to do is knock down a shot,
right.
but all you need to do is knock down a shot. So if he can do that,
the question though for
he's
Philly is,
basically lethal.
Oh, if he just becomes a credible shooter where like the defense has to honor him, oh, forget it, lights out.
Yeah.
Defense don't even bother now. They're like, they turn around.
And the way he can get to the hoop though,
that's and once you have to come out on him, he can get past you with that quick first step and it's over.
Yeah.
The issue again about your question, Jenna, is the fit.
Tell me about this fit.
Right now, because of Simmons' lack of shooting, it does not fit. Because the floor gets really constrained. And we see it when they play the good teams. Every time the Boston Celtics blow them out or they play a really good team who realizes, we don't got to cover Ben Simmons. Don't worry about that. And we'll double team Joel Embiid. Well, you don't have enough shooting on that team. Mm-hmm. You got Redick. Who else is a good shooter on that team? Wilson Chandler? Okay.
I always bring this up because I feel like Carmelo Anthony's manager at this point.
No.
You wouldn't even take Carmelo for a shot? Any points?
Listen.
A catch and shoot kind of guy, that's it?
If he'll just stand in the corner and catch and shoot, sure. But he has to catch and shoot and make. Remember the last time we saw him?
I'm
No
just
making.
saying.
He wasn't making.
I'm just saying.
So we got to catch,
The
shoot,
last time
and
we saw him,
make.
I don't even remember. Where's he been?
So that fit is awkward
Yeah, it definitely
for them
is.
right now. And the issue is what is Philly doing, right? Because Philly's been long the team that trusts the process. We want to be a team that's built for the long haul. But with the trade for Butler that they did earlier in the season, that seems to tell me they want to make a run at the Eastern Conference Finals, NBA Finals now, this year.
Hey.
Well, listen, and by all means, when that window's open, you got to go for it because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
If that's the case, if they truly are like, we got to do it now, today, well, then you got to trade Ben Simmons because that fit doesn't work. Because in terms of value, he would bring back the most value, more than Jimmy Butler. Because Jimmy Butler, again, is an unrestricted free agent. So you're not sure you can re-sign him to anybody else. Whereas you would know, oh, we got Simmons locked up under contract and he's 22. Oh, yeah. You know what they need? They need a point guard who can shoot, and they need some wing help.
Exactly.
I wonder where there's a point guard who could shoot, who might be unhappy, or not unhappy is the wrong word, who might be in a situation where it's not really working out. The Pacific Northwest somewhere,
Go ahead, say
Oregon, Damian Lillard, perhaps. I don't know. What would a Damian Lillard, Jimmy Butler,
Can you imagine?
Joel Embiid big three look like? Ooh, you're getting excited now.
I am getting excited.
And salary wise, I think they'd have to send Wilson Chandler over and
Yeah, you're gonna
something else
have
to make it all work,
You're going to have to dish out a little bit more.
and maybe a pick or something. But the point is, if Philly is trying to win this season, NBA championship now, they can't win it in their current construction.
I don't think a championship run is exactly what I would personally go for as a GM, owner, Philly.
Right.
But, I mean, further off in the playoffs, of course. Pushing it the furthest we can, of course. And if you're going to make those moves now, I don't disagree with it, but you really need to be careful because if you're going to get rid of Ben Simmons,
Right.
you need to do it in the exact to a T right way.
Oh, of course, you have to get back as much as you can, asset-wise.
Exactly.
Obviously, someone who can help you right now,
Uh-huh.
the shooting that you need, and you need picks too, right?
Exactly.
So, listen, I'm not saying Philly's going to do this. Everybody calm down, Philly fans. Don't be going crazy. But if your goal is to make the title run this year, in its current construction, this team cannot win a championship. They don't shoot enough. There's not enough shooting on that team.
Completely agree. They need more open floor space. They
Way
need
more
shots.
It's too easy in the playoffs. You know what to do. Double Embiid. Don't worry about Simmons.
Yep.
Well,
all right. We figured it out, guys.
easy. I mean, it's
early practice.
Right.
Today.
It's pretty simple when you want to beat them come the playoffs. So
absolutely.
we'll see. Now, if they're thinking about building for the long term, see how this Jimmy Butler thing works out. If it works, you figure out how you're going to re-sign him, or maybe you do a sign and trade come draft day. Who knows? A lot of things. But Philly, let's keep one eye on the now, one eye on the future. If I'm the Sixers.
Amen. Half and half. Let's do it. Let's talk about Enes Kanter because this situation is actually making national, international headline news on CNN. Everything. Wow. Enes on that Jimmy Butler train. Enes Kanter was on CNN today.
Yep.
He tweeted out about his segments on there. He's at odds with the government in Turkey. He did not travel with the New York Knicks to London because he said he quote unquote fears for his life because of the Turkish government. He's spoken out about against the president there. So tell me more about this situation because it's actually extremely serious and we haven't seen this type of issue in the NBA ever or in a long time.
And this is a very serious situation. And obviously we love to have fun on this podcast.
Yeah.
And we're here
but
for
there
jokes.
are times we have to really
But we got to be serious. And
talk about some
this is a serious
stuff.
situation.
Yeah.
For those of you that are unfamiliar, the current Turkish president, Erdogan, he is an autocrat, right? I mean, that is the type of regime that he has in Turkey. We're moving on to the point of like dictatorship. Like that is the kind of sort of government that he runs, where it's very much, the state controls everything.
Yeah.
And Kanter has spoken out in the past because he's a Turkish national. He's spoken out in the past about Erdogan and the Turkish government in a negative way. Come out against them.
In that conversation.
His father is a professor, I believe, in Turkey, and he also came out against the Turkish government. I believe at some point was also detained by the Turkish government. He has since been released, and this is the part where stories get a little fuzzy, but apparently now his relationship his being Kanter's relationship with his parents is estranged because of what some believe is pressure from the Turkish government on his parents to, for all lack of better words, cut ties with Enes.
Yeah.
But Enes has said numerous times and said it out loud, he is not afraid to speak out about the injustice he sees in Turkey. But as a result, because of that, he's like, I'm not going to London with the Knicks because I believe that the Turkish government will have spies over there, and I fear for my life that they're actually going to try to kill me. And this is the part where I feel like in America, and I'm going to use collective we, not you and I, but most Americans, we don't think about this sort of thing. It's like, that's what happens over there in those kinds of countries, right? This is what's so great about the United States of America, and that's where this whole American exceptionalism comes in, and we're the greatest nation in the world, blah, blah, blah. We don't do that here.
Yeah.
Well, except that we kind of do to a certain extent if you pay attention, right? So I think that we just need to be sensitive and mindful that, sports is a microcosm of the larger society in which it inhabits. And in an international league like the NBA, with players from all over the world, these are real life and real stakes issues. So when we talk about stick to sports and all this nonsense, it's like, I don't even know what that means. This is part of life, and this is a real situation for Enes. And look, I just hope that this situation for him, at some point, we can find some resolution. He can connect again with his family, and, he can feel safe to travel to other parts of the world. Because right now, he can't go back to Turkey because he'll be detained the minute he gets there, and there are other parts of the world that he cannot visit because of that.
Amen. And we've talked about this before, that a lot of people who only watch sports or the NBA or any sport in the United States only see the importance of sports in the United States.
Right.
But it also happens, like you said, everywhere around the world. We were talking about the EuroLeague, everything. So after that note, there were also rumblings about Kanter in the front office being a little bit at odds, or him talking about his playing minutes with Fizdale and things like that. And I saw him on CNN today, and he said, I spoke to the front office about me not going to London, and everything was fine, this and that. Everything seemed fine there. But let's talk about the game now, after we mentioned, that those types of topics. Is there a worrisome issue here with Kanter and the Knicks? Because let's be serious. Say he, this non-traveling situation with him does create a little bit of a rift within the team or the organization. What is going to happen here now if he's complaining about his minutes? He hasn't asked for a trade, according to reports, but everything's not rainbows and butterflies up in the Knicks.
No, and this would not be the reason for the Knicks to get rid of him.
No,
right? But look, the Knicks are clearly in tank mode right now, right? They're like, we are in the Zion sweepstakes, okay? We want to get the number 1 draft pick. We want to hopefully lure Kevin Durant or some other big-time free agent to our franchise sometime this summer, because they're clearly not making the playoffs. Fine. All well and good. Kanter is someone who would have value on a playoff team. He is an exceptional offensive player.
Especially when his back's against the wall in those tough situations, because he's got that drive and that fire.
He is a great offensive rebounder. I mean, he's phenomenal. Defensively, not so much. But offensively, look.
Can't disagree.
You bring him off the bench offensively for a contending team or a team in the playoffs, he could add value. So we'll see what that means. There's rumors about Sacramento possibly. We'll see how that all plays out.
Alrighty.
But Enes Kanter may not be long for the Knicks. May not.
Okay. Well, we'll see, because like we said, all the trades coming up and a lot of free agency in 2019. We shall see. But let's move on to one of our favorite segments.
Oh, yeah.
What's up? As you guys know, we ask what's up with certain storylines and teams and or players around the league, and literally ask, what is up? What is going on with you guys? So let's talk about the Los Angeles Lakers. What's up with the Lakers now that LBJ, LeBron James, is out with an extended groin injury? Another week he's out. We just found out today on January 10th. We don't have Rondo because he's back sidelined with his hand injury, another surgery. So we have obviously this young Lakers roster. We have Kuzma, Lonzo, who've been playing exceptionally.
Right.
Brandon Ingram just had a good show-out game after a little bit of a slump.
Josh Hart. Yep.
Oh, Josh Hart, amazing. Everybody is really showing out. Even JaVale McGee down in the paint doing really well. pretty much making up for a lot of what LBJ and Rondo bring to the table. But let's talk about this now that we know that these two veterans are going to be out.
Right.
What can these young guys do, this younger unit, to survive right now and keep in playoff contention and kind of keep the juices flowing while the guys are sitting out here?
Play better.
Yes, in simple terms, let's play better. But like we saw at a performance of Lonzo and Kuzma last night, we had 41 points by Kuzma. We have Lonzo making incredible passes. We already knew he was a great passer, but the looks he's getting from both ends of the floor, coast to coast. Tell me how this young team is going to evolve without their veterans.
I mean,
right
look,
now.
No LeBron, no Rondo. Well, then this is the same team as it was last year, right? How good were they last year? Right. But,
I try to believe in the Lakers, and then Jarod does this.
But I'm just saying, if you take away LeBron and Rondo, they are the exact team they were last year.
But
not good.
Okay, I get that. You got the same guys that you had last year, but Kuzma, significant extreme improvements. Lonzo, extreme improvements as well.
Well, so here's the thing about young players in the NBA, right? They all show flashes. Kuzma shows flashes. Ingram shows flashes.
The way you put that. Flashes.
Ball shows flashes.
Yep.
What separates good players from regular players? Consistency.
Amen.
Doing it night in and night out.
Amen.
See, that's the thing about this league that people don't seem to realize. You know how hard it is to be a consistent 20-plus point per game scorer in this league every single night? That is so hard.
James Harden doesn't make it seem hard.
That's because James Harden might be one of the 4 or 5 best offensive players we've ever seen in the history of this league. So, right? I mean, you're talking about the elite of the elite.
Yeah.
Yes, anyone who plays in the NBA is an elite basketball player. There's only 450 of them. But then you have levels within that, right? There's levels to this.
Levels to this game.
Right? Harden, KD, Steph, like
that.
These guys, they are on a whole different stratosphere. These guys are going to be all-time greats in the history of this league. I don't know if Lonzo, it doesn't seem like it right now. Ingram, Lonzo, Kuzma, they don't seem like those types of players.
But they still pulled out the W.
They did. But so what they need to do is figure out a way how do we get consistent and build consistent habits, and
it's a lot of the young play too.
Well, yes.
Now it's on their backs. So now they feel there's no other choice. And I'm not going to lie. Obviously, I've never experienced what these guys have, but
right.
Being in the workplace and used to different things. If LBJ's walking through the door and watching my ASS every day, I ain't gonna be playing like no scrub on the Phoenix Suns or something.
But maybe that pressure of LBJ watching with Magic and Rob Pelinka. We saw that one clip where it's Bron, Magic, who's head of basketball operations, and Rob Pelinka, the GM. They're just watching, and it's like
with the poker faces on, like who we trading next.
Well, that's the thing, right? Imagine being at work and like your 3 editors are just staring at you, like you're like, God damn, about to get fired on this, right? You're like,
amen.
Right? You're sitting here like, I better write the greatest thing ever. I'm getting tossed up out of here.
Yep.
So maybe some of them, the pressure's too much, and they're like, I can't deal with this. Who knows? Look, I've said this before to you, and I
know what you're gonna say.
I believe it. Listen. These people are auditioning for other jobs, okay?
This is not going to be the same roster.
Is certainly, if they are trying to win a title, which is what Magic and Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka want to do, it ain't going to be with these dudes.
Oh, absolutely
I'll tell you that.
And we are less than a month away
from the trade deadline, February 7th. Yeah.
That's right.
So we'll see.
So this team will not be the same in less than a month. Mark our words. And I can't even take credit for it because it's Jarod who said it 100% of the time. And I just looked in the camera while I said that. So I really gave it to you.
I appreciate that.
I really gave it to you. Let's go on here too. What is up with the Sacramento Kings? Okay, they started their season well, 4-6 in their last 10 though, and they're under 500. What are we doing? De'Aaron Fox, the quote-unquote I'm the fastest guy in the league, is not moving fast enough to get his team over 500. No hate to Fox. Love him.
Swipe the Fox. We like Swipe the Fox. Look,
but what are we doing, Sacramento? What are we doing?
I mean, they're young, right? Like, so
very young.
You got Buddy Hield, you got De'Aaron Fox, Marvin Bagley. I mean, these are young guys, right? So they're gonna go through their ups and downs. They have a negative net rating right now, which is their point differential. So that's never a good sign. And yeah, look, they're going through a lull right now, and unfortunately, again, that's that consistency word. Young players sometimes struggle with that.
Yeah.
How do when I play 4 games in 5 nights? How do I bring that every single night?
Absolutely.
If my shot's not falling, how do I impact the game in other ways? It's more to this than just, you open up you turn on your computer and you're like, oh, let me see the box score last night. No, yeah, okay, points, rebounds, but what happened within the game? What were they doing? Were they engaged on both ends? Were they, and it's a lot for this squad. I think, look, they got some pieces there. They got some talent.
Very great young talent. They just have to figure it out, like you said.
They have to figure it out. And I think, again, I've been critical of Vivek, obviously, their owner, and
critical,
and the front office of the Sacramento Kings.
I believe they were the original
dumpster fire. Yes. but truth be told, that was well deserved. They're playing better, and they're a fun team to watch.
They are. And they're having fun.
And it seems like they're having fun.
They are.
So I'd like to see how the season winds up for them and what it looks like record-wise at the end, because they're playing relatively well right now. I'm pulling up their record right now. They are 20-21, which isn't great, but it's only one game under 500, and they're only 2.5 games out of that 8 seed. So they're gonna hover around there, I think, most of the year. Look, that's a major improvement for them. So
absolutely, and like we talked about, I think it was the last episode, the episode before that, I was telling you, for a lot of these teams, like we said, there's levels to this.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have teams like the Warriors and the Rockets and the Bucks, obviously your feats and your accomplishments and your improvements are on a bigger playing field than a lot of these teams like Phoenix and Sacramento. For these teams like Phoenix and Sacramento, it's these small victories that are really going to put them over the edge when it comes to certain goals and things throughout the season.
Phoenix just won their 10th game a couple days ago. 10 games. They're 10-33. Listen, Sacramento's 20-21. They're a full 10 games better.
Exactly.
So Sacramento's moving in the right direction. It'll take them some time.
Exactly. Okay, cool. Let's move on to a hotter topic. What is up with the New Orleans Pelicans?
Well.
Okay, there's a lot of rumblings. Obviously, one of the hottest topics in the NBA is, where is AD going?
Right.
Is he going to leave New Orleans?
Right.
Is somebody going to sign him? Is he going to stay? Is he going to get the max?
Right.
He's all about, his game and this and that and trying to shy it out. But obviously, us media people, fans, and NBA fans all over the world.
Yep.
Is he frustrated right now with the Pelicans?
Well, it's funny you should ask that.
Is he?
Because the Pelicans were in town last week to play the Nets.
Tell me.
And we went to the locker room post-game after a Nets victory. And
after a Nets victory.
After a Nets victory.
Repeat that again.
Right, after a Nets victory. And we'll get to the Nets later. And I asked AD directly. I said, are you frustrated with how this season's going? And he said, yes, like we're not playing as well as we can. We had some injuries and he talked about the various things. Look, he said all the right things. He wants to play well. He wants this team to do well. He wants to win with these guys. He knows what they're capable of. He said all the right things. But you could see it on his face, right? Before the post-game scrum, when we came over and asked him some questions. And then one of the other reporters asked him after my question, so AD, at what point do you start saying, I'm fed up and I want to go to a different team? And AD cut him off and said, I don't think that. And he was really upset by that line of questioning. And, and look, I get it and I understand why he's upset with that line of questioning. But the reality is,
what is the point when you do that?
He came. Remember, he started the season saying he believes he's the best player in the NBA.
Yes.
And to Rachel Nichols, ESPN, one of our faves, and Rachel said, Rachel's awesome. She's like, okay, AD, you do know there's a guy named LeBron James, Kevin Durant in this league. He's like, and those are great players, but I think what I can do on both ends of the floor, is defensively, offensively, that makes me the best. And look, AD is putting up phenomenal numbers yet again.
He was in MVP talks
he is
a few months ago and still is.
All NBA type numbers. I mean, he's
absolutely.
He is doing what AD does. The issue is that is seemingly not enough to carry that team. And the question we have to ask is that about the roster construction? Is it not good enough? Or is it about the pieces not fitting? Because look, Drew Holiday's a very good player. Julius Randle's a good player. Niko Mirotic has been injured, and that's hurt them because Nico is 18-10. I mean, and they're missing that. He hasn't played in a couple months now. So They're missing all that. Does AD want to go to a different market? And before we even get into all of that, we have to remember, AD is under contract for the rest of this year and all of next season. So it isn't like you can just move him whenever, blah, blah, blah. But if you're the New Orleans Pelicans, you have to come to a point where you're like, okay, you're going to offer him the Supermax, fine. If he doesn't accept it, and you ask him point blank, AD, are you coming back? And he doesn't give you any signal that he is, well, you got to move him. Because if you let him...
That's when teams start running.
If you let him walk in free agency and you get nothing in return, you might as well move that franchise out of New Orleans because you're done.
Oh,
you're done.
Amen. Completely.
You're done.
Here's my question, too. To your point that you said, he told Rachel Nichols, I think I am the best player defensively, offensively, everything. Two-way player, incredible. Okay. He has all rights to think that.
Sure.
Love it. Love your confidence.
Love
and
it.
you do perform on both ends of the floor.
He's awesome.
But we also saw arguably the best player in the world or ever, LeBron James. It wasn't enough in Cleveland. So AD, can we both agree, needs another superstar with him?
Oh, yeah.
So in my opinion, this is just my opinion, unless New Orleans picks up a valuable asset to coexist with AD, I personally think if AD wants a chip, he needs to leave.
Well, so
he needs someone else. I get it that he could do everything, which no argument there, but he needs someone else. You heard LeBron James. He tried to get people to go to L.A. with him.
He does. Look, look at AD's numbers right now. 28.9 points per game, 13.2 rebounds, 4.4 assists, 1.8 steals, 2.7 blocks. I mean, those are pretty good. Those are pretty good numbers. I mean,
talk about a monster.
I mean, those are excellent numbers. The issue is, I don't think New Orleans can lure free agents over. Like, that's not a place that free agents want to come play.
I completely agree, which is why.
By the way, New Orleans is a great city.
Right? I've never been, but I heard it's incredible.
It's a phenomenal city. Part of the problem is it's not big enough as a city to support two professional teams.
Exactly.
The Saints are the number one thing in New Orleans, and it's by far.
Of course, and that's not even a rival of the leagues. It's just the Saints are the Saints.
The Saints are the Saints. Football is just big down there in the South.
Nobody thinks about the Pelicans when you say, let's go to New Orleans.
The Athletic's Zach Harper did an informal poll when he was in New Orleans about what sports resonate more locally. So the Saints were number one by far.
Of course.
Then it was LSU football, which, makes sense. College football's huge down there.
Very true.
Wait. Then it was LSU basketball.
Okay. That's
wait.
Wait, there's more?
Then it was LSU baseball.
Okay.
The Pelicans were fifth in that informal poll. Fifth.
Oh.
If you're behind college baseball and you
college baseball
and you have Anthony freaking Davis, one of the 3 best players in the world, 4, 5, whatever, a generational talent. That's a problem.
It is a problem.
That's a problem. So look, I don't think Davis is long for New Orleans. That's my opinion. That's the feeling I get. That's the rumblings that we're all hearing.
I agree.
But again, if you're New Orleans and you're GM Dell Demps, you cannot let him walk out of there at the end of free agency next summer and get nothing. I mean, you're getting fired for sure.
I was just going to say, if they get nothing, he better pack his bags.
You better figure out a way to make a move and get as much back in return, as much as you can.
Exactly. We'll have to wait and see what happens there, but it's definitely going to be really interesting.
Yeah, it's
when it does.
Not a great situation for New Orleans, I'll tell you that.
Oh, exactly. Let's segue into a better situation.
Are they for real?
Our next segment. Yes, thank you for introducing that one. Are they for real? As you guys know, like I always tell you, we question teams and players and situations and ask, is this really happening? It could be a good thing or a bad thing. We don't know.
Who knows?
But let's talk about a good thing. Are they for real in Houston?
Woo!
8-2 in their last 10 games. This is a streak, Jarod, as you said.
Yeah.
Okay. James Harden.
Dude.
40-point games every single night. He's breaking ankles, triple doubles. Let me tell you, and most of his shots are coming from the outside.
Oh, yeah.
His percentages from the 3-point range are impeccable. He's not even cultivating these numbers from the inside. It's mostly from the outside, which is insane to me.
He took 23 threes the other night.
Like, somebody
23.
get me out of here. Get me out of here. It's not even normal. Not to
23 threes.
mention, they're on this winning streak, 8-2 in their last 10 games without Gordon Hayward and CP3, with teams double teaming Harden to stop him, and they still can't.
Did you say Gordon Hayward?
Oh, did I say Gordon Hayward? I meant, you know what I mean. Sixth man in there.
Eric Gordon.
I'm praying for a Hayward to come back. Sorry, guys.
No, all good.
But yeah, Harden's cooking without all of his men. Okay, he's got Tucker, though, who's really stepping up, okay?
The real PJ Tucker.
Real PJ Tucker. Exactly. And it's just...
Listen.
Are we going to have a 2 years in a row MVP?
So the Rockets, listen,
I did say Gordon Hayward.
You did, but it's okay. The Rockets are back. All right?
Rockets are back.
They are now sitting in the 6th seed in the Western Conference, 4.5 games back of the 1 seed. They're only 3.5 games back of the 2 seed. So, listen, after that dismal start to the season, the Rockets are cooking, baby. Like, they are.
No one loves more James Harden cooking than Jarod Hector.
Let me tell you. You'll see me on Twitter. I'm like, Harden cooking. Or I'll just text you, Jenna, Harden's cooking.
He could literally tweet the word cooking, and I'm like, oh, I
must
know.
Be James Harden.
Yep, James Harden must be somewhere.
No. Look at his stat right now for the season. 33.9 points per game, leading the league. 6 rebounds, 8.6 assists. His shooting splits. This guy is sick. Oh, my God. He's shooting 48, 38, oh, my God, and 85. Those are splits.
And most of his shots are coming from the outside. I think he's shooting like an incredible percentage from 3.
And that is and those are with the volume of shots he's doing, he's being relatively efficient. Look, right now, and I said this, and we talked about this on our last pod, and I predicted it at the beginning of the season in our preseason or season preview. I had Giannis as the MVP.
Yes, you did.
And Giannis is still the front runner, but this is now a 2-man race. And I would say it's Giannis and Harden, and then it's a gap, and then everybody else.
Amen. And you heard what Harden said the other night in one of the post games.
Yeah.
In other words, he said, "quote unquote," if not, I need this. This is something I need now.
Well, he hit that game-winning shot the other night, and he's motioning to the bench 2 times, 2-time MVP, letting him know he's winning it again.
He hit the game-winning shot the face of the defensive player of the year.
He did.
And then said it.
Harden he's incredible, man. This guy is.
He makes it look easy, though. And I know we say that about a lot of people, but this man actually makes it look easy.
He is, and we talked about this just a little while ago. He is probably one of the 5 greatest offensive players we've ever seen in the history of this league. And the reason why a lot of people have so much of an issue with his game, and I think, again, it's because we have not seen someone dominate offensively in this manner, the way he does it, right? It's with the threes, the step-back threes, and it's with the free throws, right? And people hate that. Oh,
he's clutch from
he's
free
hunting.
Throw line.
He's hunting fouls, whatever. Listen.
Don't foul him.
As James says, and I say, don't foul him. Don't foul him.
Don't foul him.
It's real simple. Don't foul him.
He's deadly from the foul line. And who did he drop the other night, ankle-wise?
I mean, he's dropping everybody. He
dropped Jamal Murray, right?
Murray.
Yeah.
He dropped
Murray, and then Murray fouls him.
So they lost the game last night to the Bucks, which was a great game. And I think it was the first time after making a defender fall, he actually missed the shot. He dropped Brogdon last night late, and if he hit that 3, they would have been down 1, I believe. And he missed it. And I was like, the first time he missed it, I was like, oh, my God, he missed it. But, I mean, listen, he's incredible. He already should be a 2-time MVP, by the way. Should already be a 2-time. Yep, I'm getting back on that. The year that Russ won with the triple-double mania, Harden should have won that year. And you know why? Because triple-doubles are overrated and mean nothing. Here's why. Guess who averaged a triple-double last year and wasn't even top 5 in MVP voting? Oh, that's right, Russell Westbrook. See, this whole triple-double nonsense, and it's just stop it. It's just so silly. Anyway, Harden's incredible. The Rockets are playing better. I like what I see. They have a move to make, though, because they're still not quite where they need to be. Look, CP3's getting older. He needs to come back healthy. They need something on the wing. They need some kind of – I don't know what they can do from a an asset perspective because they don't have anything to give away, unless they give away Eric Gordon. I don't know, but
Okay.
they need some help if they want to advance.
Really quick before we wrap up the Rockets. James Harden, like we said, they're 8-2 in their last 10 games. James Harden is alone without two of his greatest players on the team. Does this give anyone any notion to change things up at all?
Trade-wise?
Trade-wise, even lineup-wise. Because if things are incredible now, that old saying, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Well, here's the thing. Getting Austin Rivers, I know it's going to sound crazy, was very helpful for them.
Yep, he's been contributing.
Here's the thing about Austin. And Austin's an easy punching bag, Doc's son, blah, 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 all that crap. And look, Austin,
people use him like that.
Austin brings a lot of that on himself, okay? Let's not absolve him of any of that. But here's the thing. Austin competes on defense, works his butt off on defense, and he can knock down open shots.
I completely agree.
And he's not afraid. Like, he's one of those irrational confidence guys.
And he's been a big contributing factor in the absence of CP3.
And he's played big games before. So Austin's going to help them. Where the idea of it ain't broke, don't fix it will come into play is we've seen this story before. If Harden has to play a billion minutes all regular season and put up 40 points a night every night to get them into the playoffs at this point, you know what's going to happen. Come May, late April, May, he's going to run out of gas, and then we're going to be like, oh, well, what's going on? So, yeah, he needs some help. So CP3's got to come back, and I think Morey's got to make a move. I don't know where he can go, either giving away future picks, something, but they have to make a move and get another guy in there.
Exactly. We've seen this movie before. Harden playing too many minutes, getting gassed in the playoffs when it truly matters, and then them choking when the minutes really count.
I mean, look, and we talked about it, 27 missed threes. And
27. That number will never leave my head.
I mean, look,
it's not possible.
And we talked about it. They were a game away from going to the NBA Finals. They had the Warriors on the ropes. So this Rockets team, that's sticking in their craw, and I think they want to prove that they're not a fluke. So I'll say this: they're back in the playoff race. You don't want to see them in round one. You
don't. Somebody that we might see in the playoffs, the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets are currently flirting with the 8th seed in the East.
They're actually 6 right now, which is insane.
Excuse me, what?
Yes, after that win last night against the Hawks.
Oh, after the win last night.
They're now 6.
Yeah. Now 6. They'll probably flirt with the 8th seed throughout the rest of the season. They're playing incredibly hard ball.
They are.
But they are extremely injury prone right now.
They are. A lot of injuries. And their net rating is still negative. Negative 0.4 net rating. So that's still an issue. Look, this Brooklyn team is good, as everyone knows.
How can we attract big players?
I cover that team, so I'm most familiar with them.
This is your beat. This is your territory.
Very intimate with that squad. Look, they have a lot of guys who play hard. Rodions Karuks, their rookie's been playing well. This is all without Karis LeVert. Spencer Dinwiddie's playing well. Ronnie Hall-Shepard's out right now. Listen, they've got guys right now who know their roles. Jared Allen, Ed Davis. Jared Dudley's been great veteran presence for them. They're going to hover around this 8th seed, and in Eastern, and in the bottom half of the conference, where it's them, Charlotte, Miami.
They got that.
That's going to be where they're going to be hanging out, and this will be monumental for Brooklyn. I think making the playoffs for them would be huge. Not just from my own sake, which is I'd love to cover some playoff games. That'd be nice. But for that franchise and what Kenny and Sean are trying to build, the culture there, it will help.
How hard these guys are playing.
Yeah, it'll help them attract new talent, free agents possibly in the offseason. There's some big name free agents we've talked about before.
Oh yeah, we'll get there eventually.
It'll just sort of give these young guys confidence. And look, that LeVert injury was not as bad as we thought. So if he comes back, and they're right around that spot, and he's able to play like he was to start this season.
He could potentially save them.
Look out, man. That's a nice little get for them. So, Brooklyn Nets, watch out for them.
Exactly. San Antonio Spurs, okay? Are they for real?
Listen, the Spurs have been playing well.
Yeah, they have DeMar. Come on.
DeMar DeRozan's been playing well. Aldridge, they have been the #1 offense in the league since December 1st, I want to say.
Never thought you'd be saying that one.
and their defense has been playing well, too. A positive 3 net rating right now. They're 7-3 in their last 10. Listen, we know Pop can coach, and they got some players on this team. Yeah, Murray's obviously had the season-ending injury early on, but everyone knows their role. They are who they are right now. This is a nice little plucky squad. Watch out for San Antonio.
I agree.
I like what they're doing. Look, I don't think they're going to be, world beaters, but It could be a tough first round out
I
for somebody.
completely agree. And once they get back Murray, I mean, he's going to come back with vengeance. I'm really looking forward to that squad, especially next season.
For sure.
And speaking of the Spurs really quick, rumors are fluttering that they are interested in Kristaps Porzingis.
Well, listen, look, the idea there is, does Pop want to make a move to try to make a playoff run, right? And if Porzingis comes back this season, will he help them? Sure, another big who can shoot, stretch the floor. Maybe. What are the Knicks doing? We don't know yet, right? I'm not sure what.
We really don't.
Well, look, the Knicks are focused on trying to get Kevin Durant this offseason. That's their number one focus right now.
Is it even realistic?
Sure.
He said he didn't know where the rumors came from.
Sure, it's possible. I mean, anything's possible.
All right. Let's end it here on Nerlens Noel.
Oh, that was
Took a hard fall the other night. Oklahoma City Thunder took an elbow to the face, then smacked his head off the court. Took a hard fall, was conscious. When he left, a little bit in and out of consciousness, and then when he came to, he was alert in the locker room.
Yeah.
He was diagnosed with a concussion. They're going to monitor him, but I mean, concussion, either way, the head is serious, and we're glad he's all right.
We are glad Nerlens is all right. That's
really good player for them in and out of the lineup.
He's been helping them for sure. And OKC, he's been a great rim protector and defender for them. OKC, one of the number one defense in the league. So that we're prayers up for Nerlens, and we hope that he comes back soon.
Absolutely. Let me end this episode with a little quote from our friend Jason Tatum.
Boston Celtics Jason Tatum.
Boston Celtics Jason Tatum throws out a pretty bold quote, which I'm not sure what to think about. Says, I'd trade me for Anthony Davis too. Did he just put himself on the trading block? And what is he thinking?
Well, look, I mean, Davis has been linked to Boston forever because of the assets that Boston has, and Danny's a shrewd GM. Look, and I've said this before. Yes, Jason Tatum has a high ceiling. We don't know where he could potentially end up. He may never be as good as Anthony Davis, ever. Anthony Davis is Anthony Davis right now. So
guaranteed good.
So if you're telling me that part of the deal, if New Orleans is telling me, hey, in order for me to get Anthony Davis, you got to give me Jason Tatum, I'm like, okay.
Okay, bye.
Okay.
See ya.
This is Anthony Davis today.
Exactly.
Right now.
Yes.
Tatum could be as good as Anthony, maybe, but Anthony Davis is already Anthony Davis.
And let's be serious. If the Celtics do get AD, say God forbid they trade Tatum or whoever, and they get AD.
Watch out, Celtics.
They can take
Kyrie.
Peace.
AD? Yeah, well, we know how you feel about Kyrie.
Favorite player? Alrighty, just letting you guys know before we wrap up this week's first episode of 2019, the 7-footers will be at NBA All-Star Weekend.
We will be, yes. All-Star
Charlotte.
Weekend is 5 weeks away.
It is.
And actually, we're already at the halfway point of the season. Most teams have already played 41 games, so we're getting there. But All-Star Weekend, look out for 7-footers. We might have some fun things happening All-Star Weekend.
Some fun things that we can't talk about yet, but we will get there. And thank you guys always for tuning in with us. And let's kick off 2019 with a good year.
Thanks, guys. See you later.